If you still have any doubts that Tesla is an innovation engine, then stay tuned as we do a roundup of the incredible technology Tesla just showed off over the last 4 days. From the breathtaking rocket booster return, allowing for the first time in human history the chance of becoming a multiplanetary species, to seeing how Tesla plans on doing automated cleaning of the robotaxi, cybercabs, and vehicles, wireless charging, bots, even human-assisted can now do billions of dollars worth of labor, the third generation Tesla bot hands, the Robovan, and much more. We've got Hans Nelson joining us. Hans has his own YouTube channel, Hans C. Nelson. Check him out. Thanks, Hans.
Thanks for having me, Herbert.
This is right up your alley. You've been following the technology quite closely. I want to ask you what your thoughts are now that they've actually revealed it. So, people came away from that event, some of the institutional investors disappointed, but if you think about what they showed off in terms of the technology, they showed off a lot more than people were expecting. And just the whole idea that Tesla can accomplish so many things. Here is, just all of this under 24 hours, under 72 hours. You had Elon showing off a cybercab, a cyber van. And again, we're going to cover the different technologies. And then he lands a rocket, a reusable booster that it can then reuse the size of an Empire State Building. Tell me what your thought about all this.
Yeah, well, and then add to that all of the demonstrations that they had with Optimus, walking out in a crowd of thousands of people and doing all kinds of incredible things. Even if some of those things were partially teleoperation assisted, like you haven't seen that demonstration from literally any other company in the world. And it is an industry leading first, and it is a masterful demonstration of their position as a leader in humanoid robotics in the world as well. So, that on top of that booster catch, oh my gosh, the most incredible thing I think I have ever seen. This is, to me, this feels like watching one of the Apollo launches early on in the program before the moon landing, but where you're like, oh my gosh, this thing is real and we're actually going to go to the moon
and Mars and over. Yeah, let's listen in.
Yes.
Watch this.
Ignited. We're now down to 3 Raptor engines. We can see those chopsticks now in here.
Booster, let me current shutdown.
Megadilla has popped the booster. This is absolutely insane. On the first ever attempt, we have successfully caught the Super Heavy booster back at the launch tower. What an incredible
Are you kidding me?
I mean, it literally gives me goosebumps, and I feel like I'm going to cry again, just like I did the first time I saw it. It is the difficulty of what we just witnessed is monumental. Like, that has never been done before. It's the largest flying object in the world, and they just caught it out of the air with giant robot chopsticks. And not only does the booster have to come back and be in the right place, it also has to be in the perfect orientation. They only have those 2 little catch hooks in one place. And if they're off even a few degrees in the wrong direction, it just slides right through and hits the tower and the whole thing explodes. So it has to be in the exact right position and the exact right orientation. It can't come in at too steep of an angle. Like, the approach has to be perfect. It is
the thing's the size of an Empire State Building, and it's flowing down. And then I watched a very close up of when it actually, the chopstick hands were out and it had to land in there. And I was thinking that when it gone down, you're going to see the chopsticks hand get boom, and it's going to fall. Nothing. It was like as if it just perfectly stop. There was
Yeah.
there was no collision that you would have imagined that should have happened when it's that heavy, that big. So the reason we're talking about this is because this is a Elon Musk company doing the impossible, changing the world. Then what about Tesla, right? What about the other things that he's working on? You had this post that you said when Elon says pace of innovation is all that matters. This is what he's talking about. Falcon 1 could have been far more expensive. SpaceX would still be far, far cheaper than competitors. Show me what this table is showing us.
Yeah. So what you're looking at there, that green line, the top dot on that green line is Falcon 1. And so that's what I'm saying. Even if you made that significantly, you raised it up on this chart, they're dropping costs so much faster than any of their competitors that they still would be far, far cheaper today than any of their competitors. And where we're headed once the Starship is fully operational, that Starship estimate, I mean, this, if you look closely at the numbers here, each line going up is an exponential increase. So it goes from $100 to $200, from 200 to 400, from 400 to 800, from 800 to 16. And so you're doubling every single line as you go up. And so this is a logarithmic chart. And so that means they're exponentially decreasing the cost, and they're exponentially decreasing that cost at a rate that is, like an order of magnitude faster than anyone else in spaceflight. And this is the thing that is going to make it possible for us to colonize low Earth orbit in mass, to actually have sustainable colonies on the moon, and then beyond to even Mars. And that is the thing that Elon drives his companies towards, is let's figure out how to accelerate the pace of change to be way faster. That, like, we can start in an awful place. We can have tons of failures. We can do things that are absolutely insane. But if we get the pace of innovation right, we're going to be just accelerating so much more quickly than anyone else in the industry that no one else even stands a chance of competing.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, well, that's why we're covering this, is because if he's showing it all over, right? It's like, look at what he did with XAI, SpaceX, and Tesla is, the one that we're all invested in. So, this is what he showed off. Elon Musk is turning sci-fi movies into reality. Remember iRobot? It is We Robot today. Elon responded to this post. You can see here that these are photos and images from the movie iRobot. And basically, that is what we're seeing today. This is a futuristic movie. There's a car with the wings, automated driving. You got even the van or some sort of big giant bus kind of thing. And here you go. So all of this is happening at a time. Elon says Optimus and autonomous cars only gets better from here. So the robotaxi, let's start with the one of the first technologies that they shared. We kind of knew it was coming because we've been following the purchase of that company that had this. There was patents. Wiferion, we were hoping it was coming, but there was still so many people that were saying, nope, that's not going to come. It's not going to be ready. Do you know how much longer it takes to do inductive charging? They're nowhere near that. Well, this is him saying that they're able to do it. So let's listen to what he said.
Something we're also doing is, and it's really high time we did this, is inductive charging. So the robotaxi has no plug. It just goes over the inductive charger and charges. So yeah, it's kind of how it should be.
Oh, I don't know why that video showed that it was. I thought it was going to show the inductive charging part of it.
They didn't really actually show that at the on screen at the event, and what we watched there was more the automated cleaning. But like you said, it is kind of high time that we get this. Ultimately, your car should charge like your cell phone. You just set it on the charger at night or when it's not being used, and then you come back and it's magically charging. It removes, the best charging cable is no charging cable, is basically what Elon is driving towards. And there's a couple benefits to inductive charging, is that there's no moving pieces. What's the first part of your phone when it comes to charging that wears out. It's always that plug or the cable itself. Those are points of failure. And so, what inductive charging does in the long run is it eliminates those parts that are the most likely and most frequent to fail. And yeah, there's some challenges. Technically, this is going to be a hard problem. I would say there's even a chance that the initial cybercabs don't end up fully relying on inductive charging. Like, we're still a couple years away from this. It's kind of hard to say exactly what the state of the technology is going to be at point of launch, but that's kind of irrelevant because long term, this is guaranteed. Like, this is going to be the way that fleets of cybercabs operate in the 2040s, like, no doubt. And so they're driving towards that future, and they'll make it happen as soon as they can.
I actually think I played the wrong one. Let's play this one to see.
Park ride. So it'll be cool, and you'll get to experience it tonight. Something we're also doing is, and it's really high time we did this, is inductive charging. So the robotaxi has no plug. It just goes over the inductive charger and charges. So yeah, that's kind of how it should be.
So you saw it there. He did have a little bit of a thing there. The robotaxi has no plug, so I don't know. I think it's going to be this is it. They're going all in on this.
It will definitely have no plug eventually, and hopefully they can pull it off. When they launch in 2026. That's a couple years from now, and inductive charging technology, like, they've been working on this for a number of years too. So they bought Wi-Furion back in 2020 or 2021. So this is something that they have had in the works for quite a while, and they're pushing hard towards this. And the other thing is that it eliminates not only those points of failure, but also the need to have someone or something, whether it's a robot or whether it's a person, to actually plug in the vehicle. So just all around, this is the way that an automated fleet should operate.
Here's Tesla account saying we're ready for autonomy, right? You got charging, you got cleaning, and you have the fleet. Yeah. I mean, it's like they've really thought through the whole ecosystem. So again, you're comparing this to what company? Waymo, Cruise, Baidu. Do they have charging? Do they have cleaning? You know what I mean? Like, do they have the millions of cars that you need? Do you have factories to build millions of cars at this point? You have to have everything thought through to actually do a full program, a full autonomous future.
And this is one of the areas where Tesla's experience having their own in-house service network really actually will shine through, because it is it is hands-on experience with logistics at scale for millions of vehicles. And that is an important part of what fleet management will mean.
Yeah, exactly. So next up is the cleaning. So we already saw a little bit about it. There was a patent about this. And the funny thing was, at the actual event itself, as I was waiting for the event to start, and even during the event, it was over an hour, 2.5, I was standing there. The guy behind me was talking to me, and he said, I'm a Tesla employee. I was responsible for the patent and the cybercab. And he was praising, saying, thank you for doing the show you did with Jeff, covering it. I'm sure I did a show with you also covering the patent. And he was just, obviously very proud of this. So this wasn't just a patent. This is reality. This wasn't just, everything we saw at the patent was so amazing, which is using the lights. He told me that they don't even necessarily need to use UV lights to, disinfect the place. But basically, I did a show already, covered the whole part of it, but just using the lights inside the vehicle, it can actually try to disinfect the car. It's got the camera, so it knows if people left anything inside of it. It has the ability to move everything's automated, moving the seats forward, back, forward to grab things or to clean things. You can even change the direction of the screen, the computer screen, to redirect light to areas that it needs to go to do the cleaning. And then they have the part of the patent was that if you send the car off to go, I own the car, I want it to go into the Tesla fleet, the network. It goes first to a service center, it gets cleaned, then it gets sent to take rides out. And then when you want it back, it'll go back to the service center, get cleaned, send it back to you. So this whole program answers the question, why would I ever put my car in? I've done Turo, and do you know how terrible it comes out? It's all automated. So let's watch this.
The robotaxi has no plug. It just goes over the inductive charger and charges.
Let me just take that off. We've overheard that a long time ago. But yeah, any thoughts on look at this? It's all automated. Is that what you were expecting?
It's definitely,
Wow.
necessity. Like, you do not want to scale this up to millions of vehicles a year that are being produced or that are being operated in a network and have to do all of this work manually. Like, it's 100% needed for this to be a highly automated, repeatable, scalable process. And so the way that they're doing this is, I think, one that makes a lot of sense. They're using very standard machines and some specialized tooling and equipment to go along with it. There will definitely be some human involvement in maintaining this cleaning cell and making sure that it's working properly and doing all that. But you can have one person overseeing the cleaning of, hundreds, potentially thousands of vehicles in a very short period of time with, a high throughput cell that can do this work.
These are all robots. It can be Optimus, but everything they're doing is all connected together. This autonomous, ability to see with vision cameras, be able to train a bot to do some certain movements. Just brilliant. And then, of course, the way they designed the vehicle was specifically to make it easier for automated cleaning as well. So again, they've thought it through. So that's automated cleaning. And then wanted to show off the van, the Robobus, the Robovan. These are gorgeous photos. If you look at the inside of it, so there was actually a Robovan there. I'll play that where you saw the van come in, and I apologize for all the screaming people were having. I did my own video, and I decided not to play my video because I was a little too. I was really shocked. I was shocked that an actual Robovan drove up, and it was just so exciting. It was almost like that the rocket thing. Everybody's screaming. But Franz has said that this is a 20 can seat 20 people, but it can easily, the inside is all configurable. You can have 12 people. So, and it can obviously be used as a, delivery van. It could be used for anything. So Elon said the view from the inside is one of the extreme openness with visibility in all directions, although it may not appear otherwise from the outside. And then he mentioned this because one of the things you'll see is that it's very low ground clearance. And some people were actually going, that was so fake. You'd never have a vehicle that low. Well, the unusually low ground clearance is achieved by having an automatic load leveling suspension, raises or lowers based on smooth or bumpy road conditions. So that was very interesting.
Fantastic. Oh no. What happens if you need a vehicle that is bigger than
What is the Tesla van?
This is we're going to make this, and it's going to look like that.
Oh my gosh! Of course they're going to make this.
You see this coming toward you? That was sick. So this can carry up to 20 people, and it can also transport goods. So you can configure it for goods transport within a city, or.
What's your thoughts on that?
Oh man, it's such a just like stunning project or product from a design perspective. The look and feel of the vehicle, and obviously, the the potential use cases for something like this are pretty much endless. I can see why, Franz is excited about this design. And then, I think it was Tech Danny potentially in her conversation with Franz, it was basically leaked that this is the thing that was the one more thing that they decided
Yes.
to postpone from 8.8 to 10.10 for. That they've only been working on this since shortly before August 8th, and they were able to put this together. I've been thinking about how they could do such a thing, and my guess is that they are actually using the chassis of a Cybertruck, and then
Mm.
they put the rest of this on top of it. Um, and thinking about how useful it would be to have four-wheel steering from a Cybertruck underneath a vehicle like this, and do all the Cybertruck does a lot of automatic leveling and stuff in its suspension already, so it kind of a great fit for that as well. But whether this is going to be something like a party bus, service bus. We also saw there was an image that was displayed on screen inside of this Robovan, and it showed an Optimus robot changing the tire of a Model X, and the Optimus robot was working out of one of these Robovans. And so it's something that they have definite intentions to try using in their service fleet. It obviously could be a great pod to be used inside of boring tunnels for doing boring trips. Um, it's just, yeah, like a striking, it's not quite as crazy looking as the Cybertruck when the Cybertruck first rolled out. And now that we've seen the Cybertruck, we know that Tesla is capable of just making these bold aesthetic moves. Um, but it is close to that. And I can't wait to see these things driving around on roads or in tunnels. And yeah, the possibilities are endless. It's one that I don't expect to see, probably before. I mean, we may be looking at a vehicle that gets released around the 2030 time frame. They didn't make any commitments. We know that they're going to be working hard on scaling the cybercab from,
Yeah.
hopefully 2026, but definitely in 2027, 2028. And so, when are they going to want to expand into new product lines after that? It could definitely be a little while. But regardless, if you're thinking about the future in the 2030s and the 2040s, it is going to look much more like the future than today, which feels very much the same as 2000.
Yeah. I can see this thing carrying 20 humanoid bots, Tesla bots. Can you
Oh, yeah.
imagine? Probably more than 20 because they all just have to stand. They don't, you probably put hundreds in there. Oh, man, this is exciting. So that we're talking about all the technology that Tesla's doing. And you can see that they're really serious. I mean, they've got trademarks now for Robobus and Robotaxi. Barbara shared this. By the way, that video that I shared was from Josh West was the one who got inside the Robovan. He had exclusive access to get in there and to show that video. So you got the trademarks for Robobus, Robovan, Robotaxi, just for fun. And of course, the hand. The hand's so cool. So I don't know if you guys saw this already, but this is just where the Tesla bot's headed. And, it can play the piano now. It can do any movement that a hand can do. It's just unbelievable when Elon says, let's follow what humans do. Let's follow exactly how they do it. The hand can be much thinner because the actuators have been removed from the palm and moved into the wrist. You can see all the tendons now moved to the forearm. I'm sorry. And so it's, they're serious. And here it is. This is it. So this is not just some fake thing. This is actually what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, this is an exciting, revelation. They've been talking about how the next generation of the Optimus Hand is going to be 22 degrees of freedom. This looks like it's at least close to. I couldn't tell if this is 21 or 22 potentially. The without seeing it up close, I think the question that I have is around the thumb. How many degrees of freedom are really there in the thumb? I see at least four, potentially more. and then whether or not they're counting this as a degree of freedom. But anyways, like you said, this hand is going to be capable of movement that is very similar to what a human can do with their hand, which means that Optimus over time, once the software is good enough, should be able to perform the types of actions that humans do with our hands, which includes all kinds of things from, playing guitars to piano to, putting nuts and bolts on upside down and backwards, in some crazy nook and cranny that's hard to reach, all by feel. There's so many incredible things that we have managed to learn how to do with our hands. And this is a design that's capable of doing those same types of tasks.
All right. Well, there's still very many people who still doubt Tesla and Elon Musk. Here he is showing off in just the last 4 days all the things that they're working on that they have already accomplished. And if he can, rocket booster return, if he can show you an actual cybercabs, 20 of them, he can actually show you 20 of the humanoid bots. And then people say, oh, yeah, but it was all, human assisted. We're going to do a show tomorrow morning. You'll watch for that one. We're going to focus straightly on the reasons why Tesla decided to do the humanoid bot, the demo as, it's not ready yet, but they did it as human assisted and what the value of doing that. But any final thoughts about just the pace of innovation, the whole system, right? They think they're able to do anything. They're not just one thing. So they can do everything, which is, cleaning and wireless charging, the vehicles itself, and the human bots, and anything that they need to do, they'll get the whole thing done, right?
Yeah, I love the event as just a vision of what the future is going to look like. And it's a much different future, like I said earlier, than the one that we live in today. There have been a lot of things that have changed from 2000 to 2024. But most of those things don't have to do with the rest of the physical world around us. Most of those things have to do with the computers, the phones, and some of the devices that we have. But the things that Elon's talking about changing have super huge impacts for our infrastructure and the way that the world looks and feels around us outside every day. And I can't wait to see Tesla continue to make progress on these goals and make a future where transportation looks like iRobot, but sans the apocalypse. So that is that is something to look forward to have hope for, to be encouraged about. And then when you see what we were able to do with that booster catch this last weekend, and just factor that in, like the same person who has enabled that to be possible and has an incredible track record of success in bringing impossible things to reality, even when they're late, it makes that future much, much more likely. And I just can't wait to see it.
That's great. Great ending. Great summary. Appreciate you, Hans. Check out his YouTube channel at Hans C. Nelson, and follow him on X at Hans C. Nelson as well. Thanks, everybody. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.